Hi, and welcome to The Next Bloom, the podcast where we explore the psychology of retirement and what it really means to grow into the next season of your life. I'm your host, Delia Farquharson, and I'm so glad you're with me today. So, today we're going to be rethinking time and routine, how to create meaningful structure without the 9 to 5. So we're talking about something that touches every retiree, whether you've been out of the workforce for 2 weeks or 20 years, and that is time. Specifically, how do we rethink time and create meaningful routines once the 9 to 5 is no longer running the show? Because here's the truth. Leaving work doesn't just mean leaving behind the deadlines and the morning commute. It also means leaving behind the structure that gave shape to our days. And when the clock disappears, we often discover that freedom isn't as simple as we thought. It can feel ungrounded, even disorienting. So let's talk about the psychology of time. You see, work organizes much more than our paychecks. It tells us when to wake up, when to eat, when to take a break, and when to rest. It also gives us identity. Identity. We know where we belong from 9 to 5. But when retirement arrives, time suddenly expands. And at first, that might feel like a luxury. But many retirees tell me that within a few months, too much time often starts to feel like a void. I recall Melody telling me that in the interview we did. Without anchors, the days can blur together, and that can lead to restlessness or sometimes even sadness. And that's why it's so important to think of time differently in this new stage of life. Not just hours to fill, but as spaces to shape with intention. So let's reimagine routine. How do we create a new rhythm without slipping back into a rigid work schedule? So I like to think of these routines as anchors. They don't have to be strict, but they do give us a sense of rhythm and predictability. And we all need some of that. So here are a few kinds of anchors to pay attention to. I'm going to be giving you 3 anchors, or rather 4 anchors. So the first anchor is the well-being anchor. We think about movement, meals, sleep, things that contribute to our well-being. So for example, we're taking a morning walk, setting aside time for stretching or for meditating, exercise, doing something that's going to contribute directly to your wellness. Then we think about our connection anchors. Coffee dates, weekly calls, lunch with a friend, volunteering on a consistent basis. These are things that keep us connected to others. So this is the relationship aspect. Then we think about our growth anchors, things that engage our minds through reading, taking a class, or starting a creative project. So anything that's going to enhance the intellectual and occupational capacity. And we think about the joy anchors, which is play, music, gardening, cooking, simple ritual, having a cup of tea on your veranda or on your patio every afternoon. These 4 anchors will do just that, will anchor your day. So, but none of this has to feel like it's a must do. It doesn't have to feel like you punch in and punch out like a workday. It's about sprinkling intentional moments throughout your week that make you feel purposeful and alive. So, if you are wondering where to begin, let's try this. Instead of scheduling every hour, think about it in themes. Maybe it's Mindful Monday, it's Wellness Wednesday, it's Fun Friday, and you use a compass, not a strict clock, and ask yourself these questions. Did I move? Did I connect? Did I learn? Did I play? Remember, routine doesn't have to be boring or rigid. It can actually free you up because you know what matters most to you, and that's already part of your rhythm. So, as you think about your own days, here's my invitation. Instead of asking, how will I fill my time? Try asking, what anchors do I want to create that make my days feel rich and meaningful? Retirement isn't just about losing the clock. It's about learning to become the master of your clock, the clock maker. Before we close today, I'd love to leave you with a short reflection exercise you can try this week. Take out a notebook or open the Notes app on your phone and write down 3 times of day. So you're going to write down morning, afternoon, and evening. Under each heading, you're going to jot down a small anchor, the word anchor, that you'd like to experiment with. So maybe it's stretching in the morning, or reading in the afternoon, or calling a friend in the evening. So write down one thing that you want to do. At the end of the week, you're going to check in with yourself. How did these anchors make me feel? Which ones added meaning and which ones felt forced? The goal isn't about perfection. It's simply to notice what rhythms help you to feel more grounded, more energized, and more alive. So, I want to thank you for joining me today on The Next Blue. If this episode resonated with you, I'd love to hear what new routines or rituals you're experimenting with. So you can find me on social media, on X, on Facebook, on Instagram, on TikTok, on Spotify, on YouTube. Reach out to me and tell me what anchors you are experimenting with and trying to help organize your day. As always, I want to thank you for joining me. I want to encourage you to reimagine time and to keep exploring this new phase of your life. I want to say keep blooming into the new life that you're creating. And thanks for joining me today. Till next time, bloomers, take care.